If you have problems or things that need to be addressed, it's best to address them as soon as possible. Whether it's dealing with people, personal things in your life, situations that need to be resolved, stay on top of it. Don't let it fester. I like to think of it as like letting your laundry pile up and you don't get to it. And then once you finally get to it, it's such a harrowing task and you're dreading it. But the quicker you get to it, the quicker it can get done. And instead of letting it pile up and pile up, you know what I mean? Probably not a good analogy, I don't know. But there are things that need your immediate attention that you just shouldn't let just sit and not do nothing about it. I've tried my best to handle situations as soon as possible instead of, letting them linger. And like if I have a problem with somebody, talk to them about it. You know what I mean? That's one important thing. When you have something that needs to be said to somebody, you need to talk to them about it immediately. If you are offended by anything somebody said, let them know. Have a conversation about it. Tell them how you were, offended or anything. And I feel like anybody worth their salt can hear you, acknowledge what you're saying, take the steps to correct whatever was said, take accountability. You should be able to do the same if they ever come to you with anything. One thing you don't want to do is sit there and tell somebody they offended you and then they try to make it seem like you're the one who has the problem, like what they said shouldn't have offended you. If you feel the way you feel that way for a reason. And sometimes people like to brush it off or undermine it, and they shouldn't do that. That's signs of, I guess, I feel like that may be signs of a narcissist. You know what I mean? You can't get your feelings out to somebody without them trying to make it seem like you're the problem or you took it the wrong way, or, maybe you did take it the wrong way, but still address it. You know what I mean? Some people have very pure intentions. They don't mean to do any harm to anybody. I would like to think that a lot of people aren't walking around trying to blatantly hurt people's feelings or disrespect them in any type of way. Some people just don't know, and that's okay. You know what I mean? But you have to tell them so they do know. You can't just expect everybody to know automatically. They're not in your brain. I say that to say because this is something that I find myself having trouble with sometimes, and it will be times I'll be like, you know what, maybe I'm tripping, maybe I'm just overthinking, you know what I mean? Maybe I'm just taking it the wrong way or something, and then I won't address it, but it becomes a reoccurring problem, and then it's still making me feel the same way every time it happens. So it got to be something wrong in that vein, you know what I mean? They might not think they're doing any harm, but if it's causing you harm emotionally or mentally, you have to speak up about it. Don't just let them continue to disrespect you, or don't just let them continue to say what they say to offend you or do what they do that offends you or harms you in any type of way. Speak up, let them know, because they might just not know. That could be that could be the case. Some people know when they're getting under your skin and doing certain shit, and if you're not doing anything about it, that just gives them leeway to keep doing the same shit. You know what I mean? Some people have no, and then some of these people are your friends. Some of these people are your closest friends. You know what I'm saying? These reoccurring problems mostly happen with people closest to us, or maybe people we work with. You know what I mean? Maybe people in school. Any situation where you're dealing with people on a daily basis, or dealing with people who are closest to you, you got to be vocal about your feelings, and it's okay to do that. You should be able to have a reasonable conversation with people about how you feel and how they affect you with what they say and what they do. Don't let it fester. Don't let it become a problem. Don't let it get to the point where you've taken so much without saying anything and then you blow up, because that's just not good. That's why you got to release everything when it happens, as soon as it happens. And sometimes maybe you need to take some time to process it and get back to it later. Maybe you need to calm down, process what was said or did, and pull them to the side privately, give them a private phone call or something, and just be like, hey, I feel like this. You made me feel like this. You did this, and I didn't like that. And whatever their response is, depending on what their response is and how that conversation ends, that will tell you how to move forward from then on out. You know what I mean? Some people have a propensity to write it off as if you only got offended because of this or you got offended because of that. Assess the situation and be like, is that why I got offended? Or is you just saying that just to write it off? Because people will make it seem like you're the problem. They will make it seem like you took it offensively because or you're dealing with something, or you know what I'm saying? But when you are a person who aware of yourself and you are taking accountability for who you are and how you think, how you act, you're on a path to better yourself and whatnot. Mostly being self-aware. If you're a very self-aware person of who you are and you have flaws that you need to get better at, and maybe there are some things you're a little sensitive about, if you already know all of that, don't nobody need to tell you that. I'm basically saying don't nobody know your problems better than you know them. You know, if you're a very self-aware person, there are things that, you know, people can't use against you and say, you can't let people just say anything to you, because the thing is, some people will say shit to you that will undermine all the progress you've made to be a better person. And for like when I was saying, some people try to make it seem like you're the problem in certain aspects, or you know what I'm saying, and they'll tell you you're the problem because of this, you thinking like this, so that's why you felt like this. And my thing is, if you know you self-aware of that and you've been working on that and you came a long way from that, it's like they undermining the progress you've made from getting from point A to point B. You already know what you used to be. You already know how you used to be. And if you've actively been self-aware and trying to get from that point to get to the point where you see yourself being better or a better version of yourself, don't let nobody undermine that progress. If they're not, you know, acknowledging it, especially if they're not acknowledging it, don't let them undermine it, period. If they're doing more to talk about who you used to be rather than talk about who you become, then you got to assess the situation and figure out how to move when it comes to them. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people would like to keep you stuck in the past more often than not. And they will keep, you know, saying this, saying that about what you used to do, who you used to be, situations you used to be in. And when you're trying to be a better person and you're trying to actually improve yourself, nobody is more aware of your flaws than you are. Because you are a daily reminder of what you used to be. Because you're trying to get somewhere where you're better. Let me repeat that. Nobody knows your flaws better than you. Well, let me start by saying this. When you're self-aware, you're aware of your flaws and where you fall short. Nobody knows your problems and your deficiencies and your weaknesses better than you. Don't nobody know you better than you, because you're a daily reminder of what you used to be. You trying to get better and get to the best version of yourself, you can only do that if you know where you're coming from. A person who is genuinely trying to get better with themselves, they already know what they used to be. It's a daily thing. Like, I think every day about when I'm trying to change and trying to actually make little changes that, you know, that eventually are going to equal out to be a big change. I got to remind myself every day, like, I can't go back to this. I can't go back to that. I can't do this no more. So I got to make these little changes so I can progress forward and move past who I used to be. And I've come super far with who I am now. And one thing I won't do is let nobody undermine it. You know what I mean? I'm not going to let nobody sit and undermine the progress I've made by bringing up my past, stuff that I've already dealt with, situations that I've already handled, things like that. You can't tell me about that because I've already dealt with that and I'm here now. You know what I mean? I've got past that. I'm dealing with whole other stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm becoming better, a much better person than who I was. So, you know you better than anybody else. When you're trying to be better, you know you better than anybody else. So don't let nobody undermine that. Don't let nobody tell you anything different. Try to make it seem like, you know, you got an issue, or you know what I'm saying? Because you're taking accountability and you are self-aware of who you are. You're actively trying to get to a point where you're no longer who you were no more. And even if you still are at that beginning stage of being somebody you don't want to be. You want to make, and you're at that point where you want to make a change. Okay, cool. Start with the small steps. The small steps will equal out to a way bigger picture. You know what I'm saying? You got to just start step by step, take it day by day. And along the way, when people start seeing you change for the better, the people that's going to not like it are the ones who going to start trying to hold you to what you used to be. You want to stop smoking. So you told yourself today, nah, I don't want to smoke with the homies no more, man. I'm really trying to make that effort to not do that no more. The next day, the homies hit you up, be like, come smoke with us, man. What's up? And you got to tell them, like, man, I can't do that no more, man. Like, I really don't want to I really want to stop. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to smoke no more. Then they say, oh, man, you changing on us. What's going on? Like, what, you don't want to smoke with us? And I'm like, what that mean? And then you say that for the next few days, they gonna think he's changing up on us. You know what I'm saying? And not even just smoking. If you're somebody that takes any type of drugs that you're trying to get away from, you're trying to be a better person, you're trying to be better for whoever, yourself or whoever you're trying to do it for. Once you get so far from that, the people who you used to, associate with in that realm are going to always talk about, at least the ones who who aren't happy with your progress. They're going to always talk about what you used to be. Like, damn, bro, you used to smoke all the weed with us. Damn, bro, you used to pop all the pills with us. What's going on? And then they're going to tell other people, like, this nigga used to pop so many pills. You know what I'm saying? And now he want to be like he different and whatnot. Like, stay away from people like that, because ultimately, if they not praising how far you've come, then they not for you, or you need to address that. If it's a friend of yours, I don't know, maybe they don't know any better, you got to address it. Once you address it, they can't make that change, you got to stop being around them. Can't associate with them no more, because it's something going on with you that they don't like seeing. That's just what it is. And then I'm not saying that's with everybody. Like I said, some people just don't know. Some people are just ignorant to the fact that that looks funny. Ultimately, I feel like anybody that's a genuine person is going to be proud of you, proud of the changes and how far you've gone. You know what I'm saying? Gotta keep away from. That's why in a previous video I said sometimes you gotta separate yourself from some people when you're trying to do better for your life. Can't hang around the same people no more. You gotta move forward. Can't be in the same environments. When it comes to your respect, you gotta draw boundaries. You have to create boundaries so people don't cross them. If you don't create boundaries, people gonna keep crossing the line, but you have to make the line visible. Nobody can see an invisible line. You gotta make the boundaries clear. And that comes with sometimes telling them, you know what I mean? You have to have those conversations so they can know what the boundaries not to cross anymore. And if they keep crossing them, then you know what to do from then on. You know what I'm saying? You know what to do from that point on. But don't ever let nobody disrespect you or cross boundaries especially when you've set them and made them clear. But if you're not making your boundaries clear, then that's kind of your fault. You can't blame them to a degree. You can blame them, but you can't blame them. Because, like I said, some people are just ignorant. Some people just don't know no better. And people have a certain way of communicating that they, have been doing all their life. And that's just them. We all different people. We all unique. We all have our different, ways of thinking. Our brains are wired differently. So you can't expect everybody to understand what you're thinking and, what comes along with that. So set clear boundaries with people. Don't let nobody undermine the progress you've made in your life, especially when you've been working hard to be a better you. If they're criticizing you more than they're praising you for the changes you've made, and that tells you how you need to act and how you need to move. Don't let those problems fester. Don't let those conversations don't let those conversations not be had. Have those conversations. Ultimately that helps you learn how to deal with people more. It's just a part of learning and growing. It's all things that I'm learning and growing with myself, and I'm learning to be better at. You know what I mean? Like I said, nobody knows you better than you do. Don't let nobody use your past problems or your past mistakes against you, or current ones if you ain't repeating them and you ain't mean and you just didn't mean to do it or whatever. But whatever, you know what I mean. Those are problems that have to be addressed immediately. Can't let them sit for too long. You know what I'm saying? Like I said earlier, sometimes you gotta take a minute to think and process shit before you just address it immediately. Some people can't. I don't know what it is. You should address everything right then and there. Whatever disrespect comes your way, you should address it right then and there. But I understand some people have to step back from it for a minute and revisit it at a later date after they done processed it, thought about it. And so don't let nobody think that you the one who tripping. If you are tripping, acknowledge it, take accountability. If you are an extra sensitive person about some matters, let them know, let people know that, you know, like, hey, look, I'm sensitive about this. Don't fucking talk about that. Don't do that. However, whatever they do after that tells you how you need to move with them. I think that's pretty much all I had to really talk about. I don't really have much else. It's just something that was on my mind. Plus, I haven't made a video in a minute. Figured I would do that. That's pretty much all for this video, folks. I gotta get back on my grind. I've been slacking with these videos, and yeah, it's time to get back to it. The holidays kind of threw me off a whole lot, honestly. But I'm back, and I'm trying to get back on this grind. So there you have it, folks. Peace out.